Hello, you. Yes, you. This is Usayome Saleh from Ways Primetime. Now, we appreciate your continued support for watching our content, following us across all our social media. But we've noticed, for those of you watching us on YouTube, 88.5% of you who watch our content aren't subscribed to our channel. Why? Now, if you are enjoying our content, you enjoy our shows, and you want to stay updated on all things Ways, it's time to hit that subscribe button below. Now, subscribing isn't just for you. It's for the growth of our channel. It helps us get bigger and better. With your support, we can continue to bring even more intriguing and exciting content. How about you subscribing right now and being a part of our community?
It's Tuesday morning from our studios here. Welcome to the Useful Inclined Breakfast Show that's very different from the usual ones you come about. This is the show where we hear the youth talk about everything relating from politics, national interest stories, trending issues, physical and mental health stories, and the ice on the cake is we also talk about the tech world and the financial aspect of our useful life. My name is Omotoshola Sharimak, and I welcome you to Tuesday's episode of the show. And of course, I'm not riding solo. I'm here with the Chief Mrs. or Chief Miss and the Queen. Hello, ladies.
The Chief
Good
Miss,
morning.
who is the Queen?
Figure it out.
I think I'll be the Queen. You be the Chief.
I don't understand. And do you know the interesting part? It was you that was actually calling the chief whatever.
Why would you call us
now
chief?
you've read
We're
my
young-
mind.
We're young ladies. You're calling us chief.
Yeah, yeah,
Please.
Chief
don't understand.
Miss.
Yeah, I
Yes,
mean-
I know of a couple people that are Chief.
Chief.
Yeah,
Please,
Chief.
I prefer Queen. Queen.
Queen.
No, let me
Queen
take the
Oluchi.
chief lead then.
How are you ladies doing? It's a
I
beautiful Tuesday
am
morning.
beautiful. I feel successful.
I feel successful.
That's it.
I love
That's
it.
a different one. It's
I
usually
love
beautiful, gorgeous.
I mean, I've been dealing with this. Okay, let me use the word dealing. I've been flying in this realm of I don't see this thing. I see beyond the ordinary. Yeah.
that's how
So
it
when
should
she
be.
said I feel successful, I love that word. I mean, you're looking at yourself and you're seeing a very successful person.
Yeah.
Like they say, faith is not normal. So you might not understand it, but that's very fine.
I tap. Successful.
Power tap.
In
You
the
need
name
it.
of Jesus.
Right, it is a beautiful Tuesday morning, like I said earlier, and we focus on trending stories in and out of Nigeria. Today's topic is already talk of the town, but first, if you're ready to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Official Upgrade TV, click the subscribe button now, like and share the link to family and friends, and also follow us across our social media platforms where we share more of the juiciest, engaging content. Today, we'll be addressing the trending story of a boy in Abeokuta, Ogun State, who was beaten 164 times by a teacher. In the meantime, let's run off on a break, and when we return, we kickstart the headlines across the globe. Please stick around. Glad to have you join us again. We welcome back from that break. This is West Breakfast. Ashisa, what are you saying? Now let's take a look at the news from the pages of today's newspaper. Today we bring to you the Guardian newspaper, the Punch newspaper, and from the international scene we bring to you the New York Times. And I'll be starting today's headlines from the Guardian newspaper, where the major headline reads, "Electricity crisis hits Niger, others as federal government deploys military to protect assets." Under it, there's a description which says of National Grid, which shows that from 2022 till date, over 132 kilowatts, over 330 kilowatt electricity towers were vandalized. Repairs cost taxpayers approximately 15.4 billion naira. Federal government through NEC loses 1.06 billion naira daily to current outage. And on the side of the Guardian newspaper, we said, the news reads, "We've lost income to 5 months blackout. Bayelsa residents MSAs lament." Obaseki says future extension workers would emerge from Agri College. CJN NJC launches probe into conflicting judgment on reverse dispute. CBN IFC seals $1 billion deal on local currency financing. And at the bottom corner of the Guardian newspaper, Manchester City's Rodri breathed Vinicius Jr. to Ballon d'Or. The last but one reads, "Presidency cheats Obasanjo for criticizing Tinubu." The last one reads, "Abbas seeks equal citizenship for foreigners married to Nigerian women." And the story that piqued my interest is on the electricity tariff as the ongoing I read a quick details of the story. The story says the ongoing power generation crisis in northern Nigeria risks straining diplomatic relations and reducing foreign revenues as it threatens the power supply to neighboring countries like Niger, Chad, and Benin, which rely on Nigerian for electricity. Report has it that it is taking power for Nigeria through 2 corridors, and as impacted by the situation, half of the contracted power meant to be supplied to the country is being met through the Kanji and the Birin-Kebbi and to Niamey, but the Katsina transmission line, which links the country, has been cut off. While Chad and Cameroon are looking to take power from Nigeria, the present development will impact the move, worsening foreign exchange earnings for repair of critical infrastructure in the power sector. And I'll stop it at that. This story is talking about how our national grid is being strained every day. Just recently, we had a series of grid collapse today, grid collapse tomorrow. And it's not, Nigeria is not only supplying electricity to Nigerian states alone. It's supplying to also our neighboring countries like Niger, like Chad, like Benin Republic. So it means that our national grid is not strong enough to power Nigerian states and the states in the country is also powering other states in the country. And to fix all of these things will cost a lot of dollars and dollars. So my big question is, are we going to say, okay, let's cut off those 3 countries and focus on our own? Or let's look for a way to say, okay.
Cutting them off also means cutting the revenue.
Revenue
of
of, yes,
Maybe it was also in the
exactly.
newspaper that they are owing us.
Exactly.
I think you're
Yeah, I
the one
think
that's
I
in
took
that
it.
law, that
I low-key
news.
feel like maybe they can declare, I know it sounds really off, but if they can declare, okay, Nigerians, let's go on 3 days blackout. So after the 3 days, let's fix everything that needs to be fixed. Because it looks as if like we're just joining
I think
wire
it's 3
to
days
wire.
that will be used
I
to
know
fix
3
it.
days might not be enough.
don't do that,
But
we're
if
talking
we're
months.
intentional,
There's almost no light every time. So what is the difference?
but if we're intentional about,
Depends on where you're staying, though.
yes, yeah. Although on
Actually.
Saturday, where I feel like my residential area, I suffered a little bit of no light, and it was very shocking. Very, very shocking. So I feel like if we're intentional, but let's dedicate 3 days might not be enough to fix all of these things. But I feel like out of the 100% problem, we'll be able to settle even if it's 50%. Because the electricity grid, the national grid right now feels like we're just managing. We're just hoping that the next bridge does not blow too much and doesn't fall something or make one of the wires strip
And
off.
that fixing sounds like maybe there's something spoiled that needs to be repaired.
Or
If it is something
changed.
that is, I don't think repairing is good. Maybe we should change because we know how fixing does
And that's-
works.
and that's why I
you
was-
fix, it spoils again.
And that's what I was saying the other time, that, I mean, this is recording now. This is like the system is falling in this year, right?
Yeah.
Whatever that they are changing or whatever they are repairing, is it about me? Let me understand. No, it might sound
I
funny,
don't
but
like
it's not
that.
funny.
For an
It
old
might,
country.
see, it might sound funny,
And
but
for
it's
you to
not
now from
funny.
I
Abia
totally
State.
agree.
So that's
my mom
that's
is
a
from Abia
blow.
State, so
That's a blow to
it
me.
is not. I am not insulting anybody. Okay, so sorry. Yeah, but what I'm trying to say in essence is whatever that they are changing or repairing has to be something that is worth our time. Do you get what I'm saying? Not after 3 days of no light, then repairs. Then how many? Then before a few months, let's say give it a month or 2 months, it's falling again. Then we are going back to. I mean, there's almost no light in some places. So how about, I mean, that mechanism that or that initiative you just said, I mean, that can work. Just tell us that, okay, we'll not have light. I mean, for the places that don't have light before.
They won't feel it.
It's all right. But, I mean, probably a week so that they can now change.
Too much.
I don't know, whatever
But
they are going,
if
that
you're
would
going
make
to
them,
do
that will make them
ensure
work.
that there are petrol available at the nearest filling station.
You're talking like
so
you're
if
not
you
in
don't have
this country.
inverter, you can always fall back on your generator. Okay, even if it's just
Or
3
use
hours
solar.
a day or your solar. So it makes sense that way.
I
Let's
think
look
that's
at
the next option we
Punch
should start
newspaper.
considering, solar. All right, the Punch paper has some interesting stories. The major headline reads, "No work, no pay dispute. Federal government invites unions as strike grounds varsities. SANU, NASU leaders enforce strike across varsities. NANS asks federal government to resolve crisis." Above that, we see FCT issues Tinubu Akume, ex-governor's 2-week ultimatum. Federal government needs 19 trillion naira to complete 2,604 roads. North blackout, 19 governors meet. President deploys troops against vandals. Northern governors oppose Tinubu's planned tax reform. Students reject FCET's 10,000 fine for violent protest. Ghana eyes fuel import from Dangote refinery. You know what? I've noticed a trend with me. Every time I look at the papers, even though there are many stories that should catch my attention, but the one that always gets my eyes is if it's related to fuel. You already know I'm going to talk about fuel, and many times about, strike, especially if it comes from, the universities and, yes, this university. So, yeah, we talked about the strike the other time, and again, see, honestly, strike story can be very overwhelming, and it's tiring to hear. You don't know what it means to be going around in circles. I don't know how people feel about that, but it gets tiring. It's tiring. Honestly, at this point, I'm wondering the kind of mental, the state of mental health of these educators and people who are in this system. Are you not tired? At this point, I'm really feeling for them. But, of course, I'm going to talk about the refinery story. So I was speaking to Mira before we came on the show that Ghana eyes fuel import from Dangote refinery. This gives a bit of positive vibe because it means that we should be looking at generating more revenue if other countries are looking at our refinery and what we're producing. So he says Ghana could buy petroleum products from Nigeria's Dangote petroleum refinery once the facility is operating at full capacity. So that's the clause. The clause now is that Dangote has to operate at full capacity. Dangote came up before to tell us that they were going to be producing 650,000 barrels per day. The private marketer said that's not true because we're not getting as much. That's what made them import fuel. But at the point, I think they were able to sort it in a way. So they're saying now that if Dangote can operate at full capacity, they will be able to import fuel from us. And I think we should really work at that. For the longest, our import and export what's it called? Is it rate?
Yes.
It has not balanced well, and that's why we
Not
have
been close to being
exactly.
balanced.
That's why we have a lot of economic downfall and all. But if we can work at being powerful in import now, exporting some of our own products, our revenue would be better. Everything would just get better, and we'll even place ourselves in that authority when it comes to the oil producing countries. You understand? So I really wish that this works out. And Ghana, please be hopeful. We're coming for you guys.
Dangote, please also make steps, move in the right direction. Start first.
NNPCL too. Please don't stifle what.
Let's not make anything difficult for anybody. Let's
Exactly.
join our hands together to make Nigeria a better place for us all.
See the kind of privileges we can be getting. So I wonder where the Nigerian government are actually sitting on when they see that there are other countries that we can actually do these kind of things.
I nearly said gunpowder when you said sitting on. It wasn't my word. It wasn't my word.
All right, that's all I have.
That's all you have.
Yeah.
Right? All right, let's quickly go straight into the international space. New York Times newspaper.
All right.
All right, by the right side of the newspaper, we have Trump offering promises as he woo big business. By the left side of the newspaper, before a vote, panic buttons and boulders. Next to that, Muslim mayor backs Trump and roars at city. Beneath that, by the right, we have strikes could corner Iran, hasten nuclear push. Beneath that as well, we have in Ukraine's surprising caution, episodes of brutality and mercy. Bottom of the newspaper, which is the last headline on the newspaper, has modifying NDA to help fight climate change. All right, the headline I want to speak on is Trump offering promises as he woos big business. Right. So in September 2016, Donald Trump met with the leaders of vaping industry, including former campaign advisors, to discuss how he could help them with regulations if he wins the 2024 elections. He quickly showed support for the industry on social media, promising to save vaping again, as he did in 2019. This move was praised by vaping advocates, who are also campaigning to protect vaping rights. Trump, who once claimed he didn't need donations due to his wealth, is now actively seeking funding from various industries, including energy, and making specific promises in return. This approach is notable for its directness in modern politics. So in a nutshell, in 2016, when the vaping industry came to him to help them, with vaping rights and regulations and all of that, he said, according to him, he said that he has enough money, I didn't need their money and all of that. But now that he's running for this 2024 election, when they came back to him, he felt like he had to buy the idea, and he's like, okay, no, you know what? Probably now he needs the funding and all. That's what New York Times is telling us, that probably now he needs the funding because he has accepted to help, the vaping industry. I would want to ask, what do you guys think about vaping? And now that a president, let me not call him a president, right? But someone that is aspiring to be a candidate, someone that is aspiring to be, on the seat in 2024 and to rule the United States, and saying that he is in support of vaping. Knowing fully well what vaping can cause on the long run and all, I really don't know. You guys always in support of Trump. What do you think? What do you think about the story?
I don't want to compare with LGBTQ, but I feel like what made them accept LGBTQ, whatever made them accept LGBTQ into law. Since cigarettes is not really a big deal in their country, right?
You are forgetting that you are not talking of Nigeria, you're talking of a state that liberalism is.
Liberalism. So LGBTQ will be like the smallest issue they will be having.
I have a question for these New York Times people. Are you going to answer my question?
Is it me?
My question is,
why
is it always Trump, that they are telling us the next thing about what Trump is doing? Yeah. I don't hear about Kamala. And I read about Kamala. It's not as much as they do Trump.
Yeah. I think I don't know if this is, but I feel like each media houses have maybe who they support. I don't use the word bias, but maybe they have like a team they support. For instance, if you're watching Al Jazeera, the way Al Jazeera will portray Nigeria, it will look as if Nigeria is on one dungeon, one hill, right?
Really?
Even if their reporters is going to take reports from Nigeria, where they will stand to take the report will be from the northern part.
I think
so. It's just the way they've decided to portray each candidate, each person, each country.
I think I agree with you, but again, I think also it's probably their audience. So that when you have certain kind of audience, you now have to, write your news in accordance to them. Yeah. It's just like the Nigerian newspaper. Most of the times why you don't get to see positive news in that sense is because everybody's newspaper wants this pick me kind of vibe.
Okay,
so you
headlines.
Definitely want to tilt to, back then I remember TVC then used to be like one channel that people would always want to go for, especially my dad. Right? But right now it's a different channel. But what am I saying? Back then, there's always this accurate news that they're coming to give you. And it's because of, they know that, people feed off certain kind of news. So even when it's a positive one, they want to make it look a certain kind of way so that people can always go to work. So, yeah.
Interesting. All right,
that's all I have for you for the New York Times, actually.
Thank you very much for bringing us back.
Thank you so much.
And now let's take this break. We'll return with our conversation for today. The topic is breaking my heart already, but we'll talk about it. Please stick around to be back shortly. You're welcome back to the show. As mentioned earlier, we will be looking at the topic, is physical discipline necessary in schools? We focus attention on a pressing issue that concerns or that continues to plague our educational system, corporal punishment. In recent news, we've seen a disturbing incident where a student in Abeokuta tragically passed out after being physically assaulted by a teacher. This incident happened I take that again. This incident served as a stark reminder of the harmful and lasting consequences of such practices in schools. Corporal punishment, once a common disciplinary method, has no place in modern education, if not only violates the fundamental rights of children, but also undermines the very purpose of learning. Physical punishment can lead to physical injuries, emotional trauma, and the negative impact on a child's mental health. Statistics report that in Nigeria, about 85% of children aged 1 to 14 face violent discipline. Nearly 1 in 3 kids experience severe punishment. The Child Rights Act of 2003 says corporal punishment is banned, but the reality is that enforcement is all over the place. Only 24 out of 36 states are fully adopted this law. Activist Adeton came to social media on Saturday to tell us and also to call attention of the federal government and commissioners of education to this matter. And today we will be talking about this. I will also be asking a question: if or is physical discipline necessary in schools in 2024? Let's start the conversation. I just read out the statistics where they said 85% of children between age 1 to 14 face physical punishment in schools, at home, neighbors, everything, which is like 1 out of every 3 children. That is a lot. This is 2023. I want us to first table out our experiences. What type of school did you go to? Let's just focus on secondary school. Let's say primary school, we're still dealing. Mom, I don't want to go to school. Yeah, take bobo. Oh, yeah, take this. But secondary school,
Bobo, I miss that drink. She brought back memories.
but secondary school, we're a little bit mature, where we were willing to go to school, or maybe we had a better understanding of our lives at the time. Did you ladies at any point witness physical corporal punishment? Let me start with my story.
Okay.
I attended a public school, but where I grew up, the public school was like the best school in town. It was a missionary school headed by sisters. Our principal was a white. So it was like one of those best schools. Before you can even get an admission to this
Everybody
school.
attends the best school. So yeah, it's
Yeah,
fine.
but
Valid.
I'll praise my alma
Go ahead,
mater.
go ahead.
I mean, I'll praise my alma mater. So our school was like the best in the school, and everybody wants their child to go to. It was a girls-only school. Although the school's physical corporal punishment aspect is something that cannot be talked about. I remember SS2 to be precise, we were celebrating birthday. You know how you want to celebrate your classmate and you pour water, you mix Gary and water and you pour on all of them and all of that. And our maths teacher, okay, I think we were talking about Mrs. FIFA came and met, said, oh, we are trying to initiate cultism. And we were like, maybe she was joking, right? Because it was not a new practice. It was a normal thing that you do for everybody that celebrate birthdays. So she took it up, reported us to the principal, and the next thing was to either bring our parents to beat us. If there's one thing I don't like, that any small thing you do wrong, you bring your teacher, your mom or your dad to the school assembly to beat you on the assembly ground in front of everybody. Then we had junior secondary school assembly separately. We had senior secondary school assembly separately before it was merged at some point. So there was just one assembly for GS1 to SS3. So you can imagine the shame. I mean, they've done it for a couple students where their parents will be crying and be beaten. It's not always a good thing at all. So we're told to either bring our parents to beat us on the assembly ground or we serve punishment. Everybody subscribed for 1 week punishment. So now here's the punishment. They were trying to build a new computer laboratory for us then. So there were blocks they were building our hall at the time too. So there were blocks there. Bricklayers would come and drop the blocks. So we had to move the 50 blocks from the laboratory to the computer science. And it was not like a closed this thing was. You know our public school has space everywhere.
Yes.
And I'm like, I'm a young girl. I'm a girl. I'm not even a lady. So we're told to, you come to school, remove your socks, remove your belt, inner, and we're doing manual labor, like proper manual labor. We either push incinerator where we pour our refuse, we push it inside. That was not even punishment. Once you get to like SS2, SS3, it's that class duty. The way we have someone that will pack drum on the assembly ground, someone that will sweep the assembly ground. So the class duty was you be pushing incinerator. Like, are you not thinking of our health? We're not covering our nose. We're not doing anything. We're just there pushing the incinerator inside. Anybody that comes to pour refuse, we'll just keep pushing. So for that particular one, we carried the 50 blocks. We're like 5 of us, or like 10. Let's say, I can't remember the number. Let's say like 5 of us. We lift. If you break one block, that's another punishment on its own. And apart from that, we fetch water. Any small punishment, we'll kneel down on our knees and crawl on stones from like SS3 blocks, like staff room upstairs. So the punishment was a lot. I didn't understand why we're doing that. You can be shouting on the assembly ground and say, okay, SS3A, everybody kneel down. And when you kneel down, they will start measuring plot of land to cut. So you're cutting it straight. So there's a way they will spread out leg like this, and then you're I'm just thinking back, and I'm like, although then it was all fun because we tend to bond more.
Exactly.
You know, we bond more on punishment. Yeah. We bond more on and then we give teachers name and all of that. But it was not fun thinking about it.
I feel
Honestly, my own experience.
We've been beaten before by a teacher where our back was swollen. I mean, Mr. Rijele literally gave us the beating of our life. Being the class captain, being the assistant class captain means extra cane automatically.
If you do wrong.
There was a time we were celebrating birthday in class. I mean, every punishment, because SS1 to SS3 were in the same class because we're in arts class. So we were doing end of the year something. The teachers came. They told us come and dance Rihanna twerk and this thing, different beating. So it was a lot of beating. It was like a normal thing that we were girls or we're not girls. They don't mind. Male teacher can say everybody lie down and they will flog us well. So I did not go through trauma though, because I saw it as a normal thing, and I was bonding more with my classmates. But now that I'm thinking about it, do I want my child to go through that thing? No. Do I want a young girl to be cutting grass, her hand filled with blisters? Do I want a young child to be pushing incinerator? Do I want a young girl to be carrying 50 blocks from point A to point B? Do I want a young child to kneel down, like from SS3A, and walk down and crawl down, rather, everybody on the straight line? You can imagine the pains on your knee, and then you're even climbing the stairs with it. You cannot stand up. It was a lot of pain. It was a lot of trauma. So let me hear from you, ladies. Well, let's see who went to Body School here.
Your experience almost.
I think it's me because we did not cut grass.
Sorry,
my school was we didn't do hard labor for punishment, but you'll be punished. So the only punishment tool that they had was cane.
I mean,
that normal cane, they flog. In fact, at a point they would want to use, and I think my school had a lot of proud children. There was one girl like this. If you want to flog her, she said, I'm sorry, you can't beat me on my buttocks, sir. You can't, they don't touch me on my head. So we had proud children that could stand up to the teachers, and the teachers would comport themselves because they have proud parents, of course. They have proud parents that when they come to that school, they will disgrace you and your profession. So you want to comport yourself.
On disgrace.
So I think my school was different, but they did punish, right? If you do something wrong, they'll flog you, and the cane will enter. But for me personally, I think I was snake-like in school. I mean snake-like is, I will be in the midst of people that cause trouble. But when the teacher want to punish them, they will somehow think I was not there. Because I had this innocent baby face. I'm like, I don't know, ma.
Those guys are very
and I have survived that. So I think that's how I survived a lot of punishment. So because, if you had known how I looked like in school, one small bit if you send me to where my mama would send me. So
but
I think I did survive that.
I think for publicity, it doesn't work that way. Resuming to a new term, safe. You know that first 1 week we're cutting grass. No, not punishment. It's like a
That's punishment now, because am I a gardener that I'm cutting? I came to learn in school.
We had a gardener, but the gardener was trimming the field because we have this don't cross the lawn, this thing. So our lawn is like a sacred place. Don't cross the lawn.
Those kind of school where you call your teachers mommy. Your basic science teacher is mommy.
We call us madam and master.
So you don't understand. Yes, I think you did school in this country.
Then sisters.
I did. But it has to be
Rachel,
Mr. and Mrs. Mr. Paul, Mrs.
You're not calling any teacher mommy.
No.
I mean, mommy, what's the experience?
I don't even want to hear
it.
You
be getting punished by a reverend sister or by a reverend father. Those people are different species of human beings. Our masters and our madam will beat us normally, but if reverend sister should beat you or reverend father Vincent should beat you, or maybe the punishment should come from a reverend sister from a reverend father. You might like to take 2 days or 2 weeks off. So you will get home Your parents to think you went to school, but in the real sense, they were doing pure manual
In
labor.
my school, we used to wish that a teacher will flog us and will have injury. We will carry that hand like this.
Hi.
Mommy, see what
Mommy, see what do you get?
In fact, there's one
Let's be for real.
myth. Then let me say this myth before I leave. There's one myth then that if they want to flog you, just put broom in your mouth, you will faint. Now when you faint, the teacher will face trouble.
I thought
Yeah,
it's like
different
my
things
father
that
happened.
happen.
My
We
darling.
used to wish that, let this man beat me, let something happen. I will show you that they don't beat me where I'm coming from.
In public school,
But nothing
your
ever
mommy will come and say, why did you faint when they were beating and they will still beat you again? They
In primary
usually
school,
hand you over
that
to a
one
teacher that apologies not your respect, Emma Bami tojo moyi,
Not
which
private
means that you have the right to either
Torture.
beat till he or till she understands.
In primary school I
torture for
attended, you try it, you will see that child has uncles and aunties at home. They will come with boys to the school. It's principals that will be like,
I wish I experienced
You see this
that.
thing you're saying, it made me remember there's this small girl, I call her small, we are actually in the same class. Her name is Eva, right? So I remember that one day like that, they asked us to, like, we were making noise in the class, and the teacher came in and they're like, okay, everybody, put your hands on your decks, and they wanted to flog us in our back and all of that. And she's like, so you cannot flog me on my back, that kind of thing. So by like mistakenly now, he had to like flog, and I think it's got a bit of her breast and all. And she went home. Guess what? We stay in the same estate. The mom left her business. The mom sells like normal provisions and all, and she sells cane as well. So she took like 3-4 canes. They went to the teacher's house first. When they didn't see the teacher there, they came to school. They now went to, because the teacher has like after school and all, teacher has like a barbing salon and all of that. They went there and flogged the teacher. This is not jokes. The next day, because we stay in the same estate, so I know the gist. So when we came to,
but honestly, how did the girl resume school the next day?
Yeah.
Like, won't you be thinking other teachers will look at you as this spoiled child?
That's the thing. So that's one thing about private school, right? The way and manner, like, we are actually being, there's this pampering and all. So even if a teacher is looking at you somehow, you care less. And again, because you don't know any better. You're saying this now because we are all grown.
Yeah.
Do you get? But a girl at that age, I think they were still in JS3. We don't know any
I
better.
see why God's beauty is different.
The only
People
thing,
had God's beauty ever. Cute
God's
name.
beauty ever.
Cute name.
Can you imagine this one?
So now let's talk about how do we think we can empower teachers
Oh my God.
with effective disciplinary strategies to promote positive behaviors without resorting to physical assault or punching or something.
I will start with this. I don't is when I don't have an issue with flogging students, right? But it's when you take it extra that I have an issue with. Tell me how you're flogging somebody 164K. Me personally, I go sue
That
you
story
for my
was,
picking.
it was disheartening when I saw it.
I
on
go
TV.
sue you if not my picking. Let's be for real, right? I mean, we all
Would you
of us on
even-
the,
would
all
you
of
even
us on
have
the
the
same.
strength
We
to
actually
sue?
thought at some point.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
I go get the strength though.
Would you have the strength to sue? Like, coming
Bruh.
back, when I saw that story, it was really
Trauma,
heartbreaking.
yeah,
Bruh.
it was.
I'll come back, my child is not alive. You flogged the
forbid your
person.
child.
In the name of Jesus.
You're
Calm
overthinking
down,
it now. But how do
Bringing
we
it back,
ensure
my
that we educate the teachers? Okay, I know that as a parent, I still feel like we need to slap our children at times. We still need those backhand slap, those
Definitely.
decking. I know we still need it. So how do we now balance between? To be honest, there's some videos I watch on TikTok and you might be like, oh yeah, so I feel like there's some things that, because when we're growing up, our parents can look at us and you understand what they're talking about.
Exactly.
But right now, Jed will say, "Mommy, what's wrong with your eye? Mommy, your eye is blinking." Do you understand? So I feel like we still need to be giving those children like backhand slap, like throw turning Gary at some point.
That's
so
why-
we're doing our balance. That, okay, you as a teacher, you can train a child, you can correct a child in some ways. I still feel like we cannot talk to some children and they will hear. I don't
Sure,
know, but I feel.
sure.
So how do we now? What do we do?
That
differently?
is what is not true. What you just said, that you
Okay.
can't talk
No,
to
no,
children
no.
and they will
See,
hear.
that's the
See,
thing.
training
Okay.
children has changed in recent times. Do you
Are
understand?
the children themselves changing?
Well, maybe they're now changing into what you did not expect. But training has actually changed for children. I did guidance and counseling in school, psychology. So I remember when we were doing, there's this course we were doing that had to do with corporal punishment. And was it rehabilitation? I can't remember the exact cause, but it was about, different mechanisms to which you can reinforce a particular behavior that you want for a child. And we realized that there are certain ways that you can actually inculcate the right behavior without going violent. Because you see Cain, you see all this beating, instilling injury into a child. You make the person focus so much on the pain and the punishment, and the cause of that behavior, the reason why they are acting that way will not change. So what are they scared of? Just the Cain. I just want to avoid this. But if they find another way to do that stuff, they will still go ahead to do when they know that the Cain is out of the equation. So there are other, in recent times we've learned, thank God for, learning that keeps advancing. We've seen that there are other ways to address issues. As teachers, you could do positive reinforcement. In fact, there's something called timeout.
Communication is also okay.
Do you know that when you leave a child to think about their behavior, like seclude that, in Oyibo schools, they'll call it detention.
Yeah, detention.
Put them away for a while. Do you know what it does to a child? Especially for young people young people, primary 1, 2, 3 students that like to interact with their friends. You not take them to a class. They are not doing anything. Just think about their behavior. Trust me, you think it might not do anything, but it has done something to their head. What kind of life is this? And they will want to change. So there are many other things to do.
I agree
there
with
is
her.
restorative justice, behavioral contract. A teacher can have a contract with a student. This behavior you're doing is not bad. So if you can change it for this next 3 months, this is what you get. It works.
That's where the communication comes in.
It works.
So also, I would also say this, knowing the children that you're also teaching works as well. Because I remember when I was teaching, right? Even me, for example, let me use myself as an example. I actually am not a fan of people shouting at me, to be honest. Like, growing up, my dad does that a lot. Once something is not going well, he'll be descend on you. He hardly flogs you. Like, he's not a person to carry cane, right? But the least he can do is to wipe you on your hand. And my hand is actually, my body is quite sensitive. This place becomes very hot, and you see his full hands, on my skin and all. So, I'm not really a person that you need to flog to learn. Do you get? Once you just shout, I'm already okay. So, and another thing is also allowing them see, that's where what she's saying comes in. Allowing them see their faults, right? I can do something. This is something I'm doing for the first time. Probably something that I don't know that is going to be bad or something, right? He's going to tell you, my dad will tell you, this one that you did is Christmas. The day you do it again, you will cry. By then, you already know that this thing you are doing is wrong, and you're going to now work on it. That's where communication came in. So when I was teaching my children, I hardly flogged them. You will see them all over the place, Miss Beauty, Miss Beauty, Miss Beauty, Miss Beauty. Not because of I don't discipline them, but because of I'm always communicating with them. When I tell you don't make noise, my don't make noise is don't make noise. And they would actually now they can actually tell when Miss Beauty is smiling and when she's not smiling. Do you understand? So communicating with them that this thing you're doing, Kole, makes sense. Yeah. This one, you need to work on it, right? Even back then, people that don't do assignments then, I would tell you, since you don't want to do assignment, no problem. But this is where the issue is. When you don't do assignment, how can you do this? I make them see themselves as, okay, see, like this now, this person is more than you, right? Yeah. You're supposed to be doing this so that you'll be better than this person, and the same school fees on that they pay. That's what they need to hear. You don't need to flog them every time.
I'm sorry to cut your thought. I think that makes sense, communication. Let's take this break. Let's take it in. As parents, as children, as teachers, as older siblings, and all of that. When we come back, we'll talk about the impact of all of these beatings, shouting on the child's mental health and their emotional development. Please stay with us. We'll be back in a moment. You're welcome back to the show. It's still West Breakfast, and we're having a conversation on if physical correction is very, very important or even necessary at all in schools. Oluchi and Gosbita have established the facts that there are 1,001 ways to speak to a child, to correct a child without having to beat them.
Yeah.
Now, I want us to talk about the effect of all of this is the impact on a child's mental health and their emotional development. I saw a Nonce Mirage video yesterday where a lady said she likes it when a man beats her. She likes it when a man is jealous. I don't know if we all saw that video. And she likes it when a man is actually a jealous man, that she cannot pick the call of her father in front of the guy. She cannot pick the call of her brother in front of the guy. She likes it when if she does something, the guy can beat her up. So Nonce Mirage asks that, what does the beating do to you? She said it will make her love the boy more. And one thing I could see immediately was trauma.
Yeah.
Either
Very
childhood trauma or maybe
That's how love
self-inflicted
was shown
trauma.
to her
That's how
growing up.
love was shown to her. That's the type of love she has seen around. Maybe she probably grew up. It might either be childhood or the one she inflicted on herself. Do you understand? Some of us might not have childhood trauma. Not everybody has childhood trauma. She might attend uni and she was dating a guy. Look at the Pastor Lazarus story, this thing that we heard. Okay, apart from the fact that she had issues in her childhood, but she dated a guy in school where the guy was beating her. And she saw that beating in relationship was, yes, she later left the guy. But the next guy she dated, she was intentionally provoking the guy to hit her. She saw it as a way of beating. That's what I understood. Okay, not everything is child trauma. So it might be self-inflicted thing. Now, it goes back to...
But that self-whatever actually was prompted
by
due to the
yes,
childhood.
it was prompted by childhood.
Yeah.
Yes. But now, let's go back to
The
physical,
impact.
the impact on the child. I will always put myself on the table. A school where even our white principal, she believes that, okay, yes, she's now a Nigerian, she's an expatriate, right? She now sees beating as normal thing. She now beats us. My parents are educated people. My parents believe
So
in you
Nigeria
must be
changed her
comported.
mindset.
Nigeria changed her mindset. So she could not, if she has that strong mentality of don't beat children, maybe she would have passed it across the school. Then at least she was the principal for a couple years before we had another principal. I think for like 3 years or so before we had another principal. So if for that 3 years no teacher can beat a student in the school, maybe we would have learned new correcting mechanism.
Yeah.
I go back to my parents. My parents are educated. They believe a child should be well comforted. My father believes in when you offend, you're getting a punishment on spot. So in my father's car, there's horsewhip there in front of the car. So he feels that you seeing that horsewhip alone is enough for you to comport. Do you understand? So I, as a person, I do not like the fact that the horsewhip feels like a threat. I cannot smile too much. I cannot say hi to that boy. I don't want to roll to and tell. All my friends is just the hospital is never at the boot. It's just to pick it from that side and start. Do you understand? And I did not like that fact. So growing up in that type of home where any small thing lie down, we're all girls. I went to girls only school. Just like my dad would be talking to like a boy, lie down. Don't let me raise my voice. Just lie down, right? So that's why.
No, I can't.
Don't let me raise my just lie down. So you're already lying down. You're already getting your punishment. And then call me your sister. Do you understand? Somebody's just collecting your punishment, and then you're going to school with either. Okay, fine, they will give you money, and then there's chicken. Maybe I feel like they bribed us a lot.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
chicken stew and everything. I did not see it as a trauma. But what if maybe if I'd had a mark, or maybe one time my dad was trying to punch me and then maybe one of my teeth flew out, maybe it would have been a trauma on me, right? But I didn't see it as a trauma. But let's say all of these experiences and more happened to a child and it developed into trauma for the child. How do you think this child can leave this trauma behind and face our own real life experience and face real life, real world? Okay, beating is not normal, throwing punch is not normal, slapping is not normal. How are we not going to be able to pull out this child experience? Because obviously it's going to affect the child's mental health. Now let's take it back to the situation that happened. This child was beaten 164 times. He woke up at the hospital. Let's talk about the child's mental health and the emotional
Was it
development.
not a claim that he woke up? He don't wake up. I think he died.
He
Did
passed
die?
out at least for the first few minutes. He passed out. Let's use that word. Let's not use the
So
word
he's
died.
not dead yet?
No, he's not dead.
Okay.
I think he
dead,
declared dead.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Interesting. So I was even going to say something that I was calling my own story when you were mentioning yours about corporal punishment and all. And I remember my own mother. You said your father would tell you lie down and all.
Yeah.
My mother, if she's watching this, she found it difficult to beat me because, I don't know, there's this weird reaction I always give when she beats me. So it's almost like, what's really going on with this child? Is she possessed? Like when you land one on my back like this, I'm hitting the wall, I'm flying everywhere. It's like, what kind of child do you give birth to? So when you told me yours, I'm like, my dad has said, like, I'm not lying anywhere. You literally have to hold me under your legs to beat. So talking about the impact that beating has on children is that it encourages aggression, because studies have shown that children who grew up with aggressive parent or aggressive mode of training turn up to be that way. Do you understand? So they turn up to be aggressive, and who we already know aggression is not the way of life.
I mean,
They used to tell us then that if you want to beat, don't beat a child in anger. Beat when the anger has come down. And I realize
so
that
you don't end up. Yes,
the truth
I
is,
agree.
anger or no anger, pain is still pain. You still inflict. I mean, how do you want to beat when there's no anger? I say, don't do that again. You will still have to inflict some sort of force. But I get that point of anger that it won't be too scattered and then you injure the eyes or something. But the impact is it encourages anger, firstly. And then it spoils relationship between a parent and a child.
So
or a
wait,
parent
I want to get what you're saying. So are you saying that children shouldn't be flogged?
No.
At all.
At all.
Children
Have you
shouldn't
been
flogged
with a
at all.
teenager before?
I have.
Have you
No, you
Let
have
me tell you
not.
something. You know, I told. Oh my God, I have seen some. In recent time, I've been privileged to be around some people that are. I've seen the way they train their children. I mean, I can't give full details, but these children have gone up to some ways, and they do not flog these children. Children will still be children, but I can still say that these people will turn out still good. Beating is not the option.
I've said that note that like 20 times now.
Go ahead.
Note that children are different.
Yes.
There are some that you don't need to flog.
Yes.
I am one of those persons. You don't need to flog me for me to understand the message you're passing
I'm trying
across.
to let you know that flogging is not a way to pass any message
At
that
times,
you want to.
you might not need to. You might not make it that go-to mechanism. But I really, there's a child in my compound. This girl is so audacious. I mean, each time I see her come, I'm either closing the window or either running inside. So anytime she sees me open the window for fresh air, she's asking me some questions that I'm like, how on earth? She's barely 6 or 8 because she's in primary school, right? So for her to be in primary school, she's below the age of 9.
Yeah.
There was a long time ago when I moved to that space, there was that she asked me, Auntie Mira, how old are you? I say,
But
She went
children
to
of
that
that
to say,
age,
are
they're
you
always
married?
very curious.
Why are you staying by yourself?
Yeah,
always
Why
very
you? And I'm like, just go, because don't let me say wrong things to you. So children are restless in nature.
Exactly.
Children these days are more expressive than how we were. You know,
Yeah,
when we were growing up,
I
we're
agree.
conservative. When you see a guest in the parlor, you don't talk. Everybody is staying in one place because your mother is going to slap you. But now children are expressive. Why are you wearing this color, auntie? Why are you doing this? Do you understand? Everybody is talking.
Yeah.
So that means you're kin.
And
You probably
that's
not do anything.
That's because, see, all of these things that we have said there, again, it's the kind of parent that you have. I was with a child 2 days ago. No, wait, now. I was with a child 2 days ago. This one is all jumpy everywhere, right? Now, trust me to say that if I am the mother, when I say stay one place, I am not saying you should not play. When we are in the house, please, Tom and Jerry everywhere. But when we are outside, understand that we are outside. I am not going to
Comport
flog
yourself.
you to pass that message. I will make you understand that you see that auntie over there, that auntie will be looking at you that you're a very small girl. But when you sit down somewhere, they'll see that you're actually well trained. Trust me that that child will sit properly. I don't need to.
You know, that child will not sit properly.
That child will.
Like you said, there are different
Again,
type
there are
of children.
different type of children.
Some children are just restless in nature.
Children are.
They took it from their parents.
It feels like their ears are just for aesthetic reasons. They don't care with the hair. I'm serious. I'm
That's
with
the words that
children.
you used
That's
to
not
say.
so nice. That's not so nice to say
Okay,
for
I'm
a
so
child.
sorry. But
Remember?
children, the hair is just there. Don't do this, they will do it. You can just wake up and see your child put hand inside socket.
That's why they are children. It's normal for children to be like
So you don't
that.
feel like you need like a backhand slap to enter default setting.
Communication. You speak to them and
Oh
they
yeah,
will
let's
listen.
answer. Let me
I
ask
would,
this
I
next
would
question.
see, even though you are communicating, I will still always say that flogging them sometimes works. I don't know if the backhand slap.
agree.
They no slap. They never
like
slapped
cane,
me
like,
before.
come here, let me
but
flog
caning
you.
them,
No.
this one is not serious.
No, is that the
What
one
like
that's not-
reflex? I feel like
When I
reflex
say-
type of beating is better than planning to beat them. Reflex, they just throwing one
I don't
slap.
think
You're
beating
not
is
literally.
gonna be the best way
I
to
think-
train a
I
child.
don't know that one.
In Yoruba homes, there's a way they beat you. They will even put pepper on your body. They'll use blade to open your
That's
skin
the
and
thing.
put.
All those
that
kind
one
of
is now
beating is extra.
extreme.
Even
Yes.
people that they flog with belts. I wonder how it is like.
Excuse
with
me,
that
talk
whip-
to me
with that
direct.
whip that you
I've been
mentioned.
beaten with belt.
Or
No
hanger.
way.
Do you know this hanger? That's iron. My mother has used hanger to beat me before. Blood was on my body.
No.
I slept off. When I woke up, she said, see, that's why I don't like to beat
beat
you.
you.
Eh? You know that I'm not supposed to beat you. Then she gave me food afterwards. But I think our skin was thicker. We could survive some things than some people now.
So how can parents and guardians and teachers advocate for a no beating community? A no in schools, in environment, in Yoruba,
don't subscribe
in Yoruba
to no
environment,
beating
we
community,
believe
so
that
I don't know how to
a neighbor
pass that.
can train you. We
Those
believe
beating,
that
don't they fear
your
me?
landlord
For
can
real.
train you. So how can we advocate for a no beating? Because I don't want you to beat my child. I'd rather beat my child myself than for you to beat my child.
Okay.
So how can we advocate for it?
Speaking of that, this one I said now, I agree. So there are specific persons that should be flogging my children, right? They are teachers, because you are literally the one they are with. I mean, your child is with their teachers almost throughout the day.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
8 hours.
8 hours. Come on. So tell me how, of all the nonsense things that children do, you will not flog them. Then you're not training them. Do you get what I'm saying? But beating them too much is where I have an issue with that. There's level to the beating. Ensure that when since all the 3 years I've been teaching, I've never wounded any child before. I've not inflicted any injury that they have to
Now
take
the
it to the
question is,
hospital.
how do we not advocate for it? As a teacher, as the school themselves, how do they advocate for it? The Parent Teachers Association, which is the PTA, this in the
Yeah.
school, how do they advocate and push for it? That, okay, we don't want to totally scrap corporal beating, punishment,
There are actually
everything.
schools now that
They don't even have
They don't
cane
do
in
that.
They
their
don't even have cane.
Exactly.
But
They
how do they
don't
now?
do-
What other methods
I've
can be
mentioned
used?
some method for you. They're long list.
Will
One
it
of these
work
days-
in the
what if-
Nigerian
it will
space?
work.
What do you think?
It
Will it
will
work in the
work in the
Nigerian
Nigerian
space?
space because it's working for some children.
What
So we
do you
need to
think
change
of-
our mentality of thinking that maybe talking doesn't work. It works, actually. It works. It puts them in their place and make them understand what should be done. You are instilling the right character and behavior to these children. You are giving them behavioral contracts. You are making them understand what is wrong and what is right. And it will
right.
eventually work out.
Yeah.
Moreover, you also have to give these children grace and give them space to be children. Do you understand?
Yeah.
But
That's true.
some
Very
people
true.
get too agitated. Any
Christmas,
small
whatever.
restlessness, you want to flog a child. A child will be a child. You can't expect a child to be in a place and that place will be neat and organized. Why? How do you think that will
On a
happen?
final note, what laws do you think the Minister of Education, the Ministry of Education rather, the federal government
Firstly,
should
they
put
should
in
make
place?
it mandatory that the remaining 24 minus 36 is what? You know, the background story you give us said
yeah.
24 has incorporated
24
out of 36.
states.
They should make everybody incorporate and it should become effectual. Why would some states say they don't want to? Why? They should incorporate it.
I feel like the remaining 6 states to be the Southwest.
West, I mean North.
And I feel like it's the Southwest.
Why the Southwest?
There's a way Yoruba feels like you should train a child.
In the way it should grow.
A Yoruba parent feels like a neighbor can train a child. If you should catch her doing rubbish, don't worry, beat her before I come back.
I
I
did-
give you the go ahead.
I do not subscribe to that
Never.
one. On no,
This is
Never.
why we are changing the narrative.
on no
Yes.
account.
So this is why we're changing the narrative. So from your end, as we begin to wrap up, what other things? How do you think the Ministry of Education, the federal government, the state government should pay attention to the issue of beating at all in schools? Cutting grass is part of it. Oh, cutting grass, carrying blocks like I did, using belt, available thing to beat child. Oh, give me your hand. No. How do we ensure that both public schools and private schools take away all of these things? Because if we are removing
To be
beating,
honest-
and we are saying they should cut grass, we're removing beating, we are saying they should move blocks, we're removing beating, we're saying they should push incinerator.
all those other things does not make any sense to me. Even my mom, my dad, I'm very sure your mom and dad definitely during the time where they schooled in the East and all, they were also told to cut grass.
Yeah.
But some were done for practical reasons. Oh, we want to come and farm. Oh, want to come and
Yeah,
some
true.
are done for practical reasons. So I don't know how to cut grass. I don't know how it is. I don't know how.
And some that
whether
are
it
in
is
boarding
very
schools, you
painful
know,
and
I
all.
think there is this time for some borders
Exactly.
in the school.
So
I'm so
those
sorry.
ones too.
I don't want to say one of those things our brothers do. there's a language, there's a term. I can't say it on air, but if you should do anything wrong in a budding session, you remove the pole of your bed and pound. You can imagine what they are going to pound. Exactly, you're pounding feces with the pole of your bed.
What?
Exactly. That's what our brothers do. Maybe not all our brothers, but I don't know if maybe it's the sisters or maybe it's the seniors. They were punishing them that way. But you remove the pole of your bed and you pound.
What is that?
Exactly.
Thank
That one is too extreme now.
You can say that again.
That's too extreme, I beg.
For me, my parting shot would be both private schools, public school, take away any form of beating or correcting mechanism that you feel, cutting grass, harmful things, that anything that just feels a little bit extra and too much for a child. They are not manual laborers. They are not Loma officials that should be pushing incinerators. Let children be children. Children can be a handful, I know. Teenagers can be a handful. Well, please let's look out for other ways to train them, to speak to them, so that they can become responsible adults for themselves and be a good citizen in the society. Because it's when we have responsible adults that they can contribute to being a good and responsible citizen in the bigger world and the bigger state. That's it on today. Please do ensure you subscribe to our YouTube channel at Official Upgrade TV. You can also interact with us further, drop a comment, and most importantly, follow all our social media platforms. So we'll come your way again tomorrow, Wednesday. Please stay sharp.
Hello, you. Yes, you. This is Usayome Saleh from Ways Primetime. Now, we appreciate your continued support for watching our content, following us across all our social media. But we've noticed, for those of you watching us on YouTube, 88.5% of you who watch our content aren't subscribed to our channel. Why? Now, if you are enjoying our content, you enjoy our shows, and you want to stay updated on all things Ways, it's time to hit that subscribe button below. Now, subscribing isn't just for you. It's for the growth of our channel. It helps us get bigger and better. With your support, we can continue to bring even more intriguing and exciting content. How about you subscribing right now and being a part of our community?